Over the past year or so, the grey market key reselling site G2A has gotten a lot of criticism, and now Scott Hartzman, the CEO of Trion Worlds, has been pretty damn critical of G2A when speaking to PC Games N. Now apparently his company carried out audits on G2A, and he went so far as to say that legitimate keys essentially don't exist in G2A's inventory, at least among the real bargains. And he even went so far as to say that the lack of regulation is the only thing that, quote, keeps them out of jail, of course referring to G2A. And he said, quote, every key we've audited that was being sold for under market price was obtained by either payments fraud or regional pricing fraud. The mythical dedicated gamer who just wants to sell a spare key doesn't appear to exist. It's a smokescreen that's not happening at any scale. Now, of course, that's a pretty serious accusation, and naturally a question was asked as to how he could be so confident. Basically, he said that when Trion saw a batch of their keys go up on what he called the quote-unquote fraud sites, they bought one to see the chain of events. And he said, quote, once we have the key in hand, we know exactly which partner we issued it to, when, and what the prices should have been. And then we see what actually happened with it. Invariably, the key was purchased by either a hacked PayPal, stolen credit card, or region exploit. And of course, the region exploit is referring to a fairly commonly known practice where a key is bought from a region where prices are lower than they are for customers, say, here in the UK or in the US, and then relisted for sale on G2A that is a appealing price but still at a profit compared to what it was actually purchased at in these lower priced regions. It's obviously pretty different from selling a key that was purchased via a stolen credit card or a PayPal that doesn't actually belong to you. Now G2A of course have said that they will be clamping down on fraud as much as possible, and Hartman is pretty confident that this is the basis of G2A's business model, and I'll go into what he said. Quote, the fact is, it's what they've created by design. Fraud and pricing exploitation is what they've intentionally built a business on top of it, and a very high margin business at that. Those streamer and channel sponsorship you see everywhere don't come cheap. An hour of moderately large streamers' time can go for $50,000 or more now that talent agencies are involved. How much do you imagine full-time permanent sponsorships cost? The only way to afford that kind of exposure at the scale that G2A does in a business where you're primarily taking cuts of transactions is if that business has a nearly unlimited volume inventory at next to no cost of goods. The only way to have a transaction fee based business with unlimited inventory at almost no cost of goods is for the goods to be digital and obtained fraudulently. It's the same model we've seen in MMOs with gold sales sites over the 10 years. Direct monetization of fraud. Now, while buying a key in a country or region that is lower priced than you would actually pay, say here in the UK or in the US, and then reselling it at a profitable price to you but still very cheap price to those buying it in said country isn't illegal, the use of keys bought through stolen credit cards of course very much is. I can definitely see the argument to be made of, look, say for example you live in Australia or Brazil where games and of course consoles and PCs and all that sort of stuff are notoriously expensive. I can definitely see, like, you know, why would I not purchase a product that's cheaper, that is legit, it was just bought from another country where, you know, they don't pay out the arse for a game. You know, that's a perfectly valid thing. But obviously the fraudulent keys, the keys that are bought on credit cards that are stolen, which of course then charged back and cost the developer money, that's where I, and of course many other people, take issue. And you know, G2A have made various promises about cracking down on these fraudulent sales and of course working with developers to actually give a database of keys that are legit and working with them on keys that turn out to be not legit and all this other stuff. So hopefully we can see some changes made there, because you know G2A are of course doing pretty well. They do sponsor various streamers and YouTubers as well as other people and websites as well, and you know, they have involvement in esports, so you can see their sponsorship there. So you know they're clearly not going anywhere, so they need to be doing exactly what they said they would do, which is working with developers and so on. How true these comments from Trion Worlds are, well, I have no way of knowing because, well, I'm not Trion Worlds, but these are some pretty serious claims. At the moment, G2A have not issued any comments, but it's still some pretty interesting and serious accusations. I mean, hopefully, you know, it's not true. I'd rather this be wrong, and G2A actually are working with developers and publishers like they said, and trying to stamp down on the actual fraudulent purchases, which again, as I said, is the ones purchased through credit cards that are stolen and then charged back, costing the developer monies. When they're actually costing the developer money because of chargebacks, that, you know, you can kind of see the issue. But this issue is undoubtedly a thorny one, and I will include the link to the PC Games article in the description below this video. Give it a read if you so desire, and let me know your thoughts and opinions on this issue. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.